Royal Highness. I am so excited for this conversation because you have gotten me excited as to the world of gaming with your passion for it. We're coming up on the Esports World Cup to be held in the kingdom starting July 4th, so it's around the corner. And this is an evolution of the Gamers 8 competition, if you will. It promises to be the biggest competition of its type at a scale that we have not yet seen in the world. What makes it so different this year, and how can it unite the global gaming community?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure to be back in Rio, as always. So what makes the Esports World Cup and what was previously Gamers 8 so different was a thought process that, a typical esports event was you'd go, you watch your team, you go home. And quite honestly, the experience watching online was better than the experience of watching in person. And how can we change that? How can we adapt that to be something that you want to go to, like a typical traditional sports event? So what we've done is we've innovated around the tournaments. We've brought in the best teams and the best players, the best production teams, to make sure the tournament is the best that can be there. But we've done innovation all around it to say we're also going to add in music. We're going to add in anime. We're going to add in activations, game launches, food and beverage, education, to make it a place where you don't want to just come and watch a match and leave. You want to spend all day there. In fact, you want to come back tomorrow, and you want to come back next year. And so it becomes a place that is the place to be, and not just a place to go watch a team and go home.
And I imagine also a place for families. It's like a festival, right?
Absolutely.
To create community. You know, the kingdom is, listen to this stat because it is really spellbounding. The kingdom is home to 67% of gaming enthusiasts in the MENA region.
So 67% of the population of Saudi Arabia consider themselves to be gamers.
That's huge.
And what's very interesting as well is, if you look at us as a region, when you talk about the MENA region, it's 22 countries, roughly 288 million gamers that all have one unifying language. So when you talk about opening up an industry, when you talk about doing an esports competition, you're not just talking to Saudi and the 30 million population, the 23 million gamers in Saudi. You're talking to 288 million gamers around the MENA region, which is bigger than North America, bigger than Europe.
Wow.
And it makes it exciting, and it was also one of the reasons why we had to do everything we're doing, not just in esports, but building an industry, because that is what our community wants. They want not just the entertainment aspect, but they want a career path, and this is an industry.
And what's interesting is these 67% of gamers include a very high percentage of women, correct?
So our community is roughly 51, 52% male and 48, 49% female.
Wow.
Now where the disparity, you really see the disparity is in the professional gaming community. Right now we're roughly 18% female, but that has been growing very quickly over the last few years. We're much higher than the global average. The global average is somewhere between 9 to 12%.
But still having that 49% of women who consider themselves gaming enthusiasts is huge. You talked about being able to develop certain skills for work. So how can this explosion in gaming lead to opportunities for growth in the workforce and sustainability?
Well, what we're really using esports for, if you talk about an industry as a gaming industry, to build a gaming industry, you're talking about a long-term vision. 5, 10, 15, 20 years. I mean, that doesn't end. But if you want to make an impact now, esports you can. We can take a leadership role, we can innovate, and we can showcase that within a year to 2 years, which is what we've done. But the aim with what we're doing in esports, the investments, the growth, the events, is to open the doors and open people's eyes to the industry and say that we are here to be a member of the global community in esports and gaming. And we are creating a global hub for gaming and esports. And people always ask me, what does global hub mean? And to me, it's very simple. When you talk about gaming and esports, there's certain places that pop in the top of your head. South Korea, Japan, North America, some countries in Europe. I want Saudi to be a natural part of that conversation, where you cannot talk about gaming and esports without mentioning Saudi the same way you mention all these other countries.
You've declared it here, and so it shall be. Yes, big round of applause for that. The hub for gaming, you've created an ecosystem.
Yes.
How is AI changing the gaming industry?
Well, AI is integral to the growth of what we're doing on many aspects. One, for esports, you're talking about analytics, coaching, really making the ecosystem around the player easier so that the player himself or herself can thrive. If you're talking about the gaming industry, you're talking about adding to the ability to create games at a lower budget, the ability to enhance storytelling, to enhance your abilities, whether it be in coding, whether it be in other things. And because that's one of the things that I think often is misunderstood about gaming, is that everyone thinks if you can't code, if you're not good on a computer, you can't be a part of the industry, which is so far from the truth. We need artists, we need storytellers, we need voice actors, we need legal, we need finance, we need trainers, we need, I mean, literally anything that you are good at. If you have a passion for gaming, there's a career path in gaming for that. And to showcase that, and AI and the capabilities of AI now are starting to help, but I think the future of AI will really expand the opportunities there. And rather than take jobs away from people, I think it will enhance what people can do and grow the jobs in this industry.
So the global gaming industry is worth almost $200 billion. We talked about this yesterday. The Hollywood box office, $26 billion. So the difference is startling.
Well, it's bigger than film, TV, and music combined.
That's insane. So what can, and me being a media executive and executive producer of many stories, what can the fragmented media industry that is fighting for our screen time learn from the gaming industry that seems to be doing it right?
Well, one of the things that I think is also overlooked when you talk about gaming is the cultural export, the cultural aspect of gaming. When you talk about gaming as a medium, when you read a book, you're reading about someone who's done something. When you watch a movie, you're watching someone do something. But when you play a game, you are doing it yourself. You never hear a gamer say, oh, my character did this or my character did that. I beat the boss. I did this. I went here. And so as a medium, there's no better way to showcase a culture, a history, and export that to the world in a way that is fun and engaging. I mean, the first time I went to China, I remember we did a visit to the military museum, and they were talking about the unification of China and the battles and the generals. And I was saying, oh yes, I know this general in this battle, and he did this, and that was amazing. And they said, oh, did you study Chinese history? I said, no, I played Dynasty Warriors.
Oh.
I was him. I led that battle. You know, I won that battle, and I lost that one. And there's another story and my wife hates me telling this, but we were walking around Italy. We were on a holiday together, and we were in Rome. And she asked me, what's this building? I said, oh, they used to do this here, and this so-and-so lived here. And she goes, how do you know that? I said, well, I had to climb that wall to assassinate someone over there. She's like, please don't say that out loud. But it goes to show that through my experience in the game, I didn't just complete a game, you know, follow my objectives and complete the game. I learned by walking through the streets of Rome, by walking through a mile in the shoes of the generals who unified China. I got a chance to see a lot of these things before I ever visited by gaming. And so just as a way to bring people together, teach who you are, and also one unique thing about gaming, and then I promise I'll let you ask the next question.
I'm fascinated by these stories.
Is there is no other medium, sport, anything in the world where your first interaction with someone is an avatar in a game and therefore their skill level. You create your avatar to showcase who you are, and then you showcase your skill level, and that is the respect you gain in this community. And it's only much later that people start to meet, and then you realize who they are, what gender, what color, what history, what nationality, what religion. But as your first interaction, none of that matters. It is who you create in the game and what skill you showcase in the game. And it gives you the opportunity to lead in ways that you may not otherwise get the opportunity to.
So you speak about this industry and your work with such passion that I want to know, for the last question that we have time for, unfortunately, what was that first game when you were growing up that really caught your attention and led you to be a leader in this field and dedicate your life to this work?
Well, My gaming history is long and not very storied. But I mean, I went through all the devices from the Atari to the Dreamscape, the Sega Dreamcast, the Neo Geo, you know, all the Nintendos, 64, and Xbox, PlayStation. I think one of the first games that really got me really going that I remember was Super Mario Brothers. All of the editions, 1, 2, 3. I still remember all the secret passageways and the ways around all the bosses. Street Fighter was one of the first esports games that I played. But I learned very quickly that what I enjoy is the single-player role-playing games, the games that have a storyline that you can follow. I enjoy going through the story. I enjoy getting engaged in the story. And my only issue right now is finding the time to sit down between work, travel, and kids. Finding time alone to play without interruption is very difficult. But that's my history, my love story with gaming.
Thank you so much. It very much is a love story, and I love this idea of the I concept for young people, taking ownership of the storytelling and co-creating these worlds together. A big round of applause for His Royal Highness, Prince Faisal Al Saud.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Obrigada.